of the Imitation of Christ by Thomas A. Kempis. Book 2, Admonitions Leading to the Spiritual Life. Chapter 10, of Gratitude for the Grace of God. Why seekest thou rest, since thou art born to labor? Dispose thyself to endurance, rather than to consolations, and to bear the cross, rather than to rejoice. For who is there amongst people in the world who would not willingly receive consolation and spiritual gladness, if he could always have it? For spiritual consolations exceed all the delights of the world and pleasures of the flesh. For all worldly delights are either vain or base, but spiritual delights alone are pleasant and noble, springing from virtues, and infused by God into pure minds. But these divine consolations no man can always enjoy as long as he would like, because the time of temptation comes not to an end. But that which very much opposes these heavenly visits is a false liberty of mind and a great confidence in self. God does well in giving the grace of consolation, but man does ill in not referring it all to God with thanksgiving. And therefore the gifts of grace cannot flow in us, because we are ungrateful to the giver, and do not pour all back to the fountainhead. For grace is ever due to him who worthily renders thanks for graces, and what is wont to be given to the humble will be taken away from the proud. I would not have such consolation as would rob me of compunction, nor do I wish for such contemplation as leads to pride. For not all that is high is holy, nor all that is pleasant good, nor every desire pure, nor all that is dear to us pleasing to God. I willingly accept of that grace by which I am ever found to be more humble and wary, and become more ready to forsake myself. He who has been taught by the gift of grace, and instructed by the scourge of its withdrawal, will not dare to attribute anything good to himself, but will rather acknowledge himself to be poor and naked. Give to God what is God's, and take to thyself what is thine. That is, give thanks to God for his grace, but feel that what there is of fault is thine alone, and the fitting punishment of thy fault. Put thyself always at the lowest, and the highest shall be given thee. For the highest is not valid without the lowest. The saints highest in the sight of God are least in their own eyes, and the more glorious they are, the more humble they are in themselves. They who are full of truth and heavenly glory are not desirous of vain glory. They who are grounded and established in God can by no means be proud. And they who attribute whatsoever good they have received to God seek not glory from one another, but that glory which is from God alone. And they desire above all things that God may be praised in themselves and in all the saints, and this is always their aim. Be grateful then for the least, and thou shalt be worthy to receive greater things. Let the least be to thee as very great, and the most contemptible as a special gift. If thou considerest the dignity of the giver, no gift will seem to thee little or worthless. For that is not small which comes as a gift from the Most High God. Yea, though he give punishment and stripes, it ought to be acceptable, for whatever he allows to befall us, he always does it for our salvation. Let him who desires to retain the grace of God be grateful for grace when given, and patient when it is withdrawn. Let him pray that it may return. Let him be cautious and humble, lest he lose it. And that concludes Chapter 10 of Book 2 of the Imitation of Christ.